morning, scholars. Today we're going to investigate, do you think you could outrun a dinosaur? Let's see.
I want you to imagine that a dinosaur comes charging after you. Now, even if you love dinosaurs, you probably don't want an animal this big to get too close. If the dinosaur is a plant eater, it could step on you by mistake. And if the dinosaur is a meat eater, as I think this one might have been, it might gobble you up as a snack. So, like any sensible kid, you're going to run away. But can you run fast enough? Can you outrun a dinosaur? Now, what are you going to need to know in order to answer this question? Well, you're definitely going to need to know how fast dinosaurs could run. To know how fast dinosaurs ran, you can't use a video like this because this dinosaur is totally fake. It's a person inside of a dinosaur costume. Most of what we know about dinosaurs comes from fossil dinosaur bones. And their bones, of course, won't tell us how fast they ran. But bones are not the only fossils dinosaurs left behind. For every dinosaur bone that people have found, they have found thousands and thousands of these. Can you tell what they are? They're fossil dinosaur footprints. Millions of years ago, dinosaurs walked in the mud, leaving footprints like this behind. The mud dried and eventually hardened into stone. The marks the dinosaurs left in the mud became fossil dinosaur footprints. These fossil dinosaur footprints have turned up in many places around the world, like here in Texas, where scientists dug down and discovered them along the bottom of an old stream. In some places, scientists found fossil dinosaur bones near the footprints, so we know that it was dinosaurs that left these tracks behind. They also discovered that the bones of those fossil dinosaur feet fit the fossil footprints perfectly. So dinosaurs left behind footprints. It's so cool that these exist. But what do they tell us about dinosaurs? I mean, could a fossil footprint ever help us solve mysteries like how fast did dinosaurs run? Well, fossil footprints can definitely tell us how big some dinosaurs were. But we already knew how big some dinosaurs were just from looking at their fossil bones. So is there anything else the footprints could tell us? Remember when we wondered what dinosaur teeth could tell us about dinosaurs? What did we do? We looked at the teeth of animals alive today. And we realized we can figure out what an animal eats by looking at its teeth. So what if we look at the footprints of animals alive today? Can they show us something interesting? When you want to figure out something about the past, it's often useful to look around at the present. For example, check out these two sets of tracks. Neither of these were dinosaurs. They're both of animals that are alive today. What can you figure out about these animals just by looking at their footprints?
So here's what they noticed. The animal on the left has 5 toes, and the animal on the right has 4 toes. The animal on the left walks on 4. Do you see how close they are together? And then you can see right here that the animal only walks on 2 feet. And that would be a bird.
So you see, just from footprints alone, you can tell something about the animal. For example, we just saw how you can tell if an animal walked on 4 feet, like a squirrel, or if it walked on 2 feet, like a bird. When scientists find dinosaur footprints, they can tell this too. Sauropod dinosaurs walked on all 4 legs. Tyrannosaurus rex walked on 2 legs, like a bird does. And that makes sense because otherwise a T-Rex would have looked really crazy walking around on all 4s with these 2 tiny little arms. Now, what we really want to know is how fast that dinosaur was going. Is there any way we can tell that? Obviously, this would be much easier if dinosaurs were still alive. We don't have a dinosaur here at Mystery Science Labs, but we do have plenty of people who can walk on 2 feet, just like this dinosaur did. So let's again use the present day to help us figure out the past. Let's experiment with people tracks to see if that could tell us about how fast someone was moving. What's an easy way to make tracks? Well, if your feet are wet, you leave tracks on the pavement. So we had our friend Pat walk with wet shoes on the sidewalk. And as she did that, we took this video of her footprints. So here were her footprints as she walked. And I've outlined them in yellow so you can see them better. Okay, now try and picture in your mind, how will these footprints be different if Pat were to run instead of walk? Let's see now. You ready? Interesting. So I've outlined those in green. Those are her footprints as she was running. So if you were walking, you leave footprints like this. But if you're running, you leave footprints like this, spaced more apart. Think about that. As you move more quickly, your steps get farther apart. And so you can see that when you look at footprints. Now you might object, okay, that works for people, but does this still hold true for animals? But check out this video of an ostrich. Watch what happens when it starts to run. See, when it was walking, its steps were small. But when it's running, it takes big steps. So suppose that you found the tracks of two ostriches side by side. Their footprints are the same size, so you figure the ostriches are about the same size as each other. Ostrich number 1 is taking big steps, and ostrich number 2 is taking little steps. Which ostrich do you think was moving faster?
Which one was moving faster? How do you know? Think about it. Look at this image to decide. Where was Pat walking and where was Pat running? And how do you know that? So it says Pat was walking when she passed the tree. You can see here. Her footprints are close together. Pat was running when she reached the bus. Her footprints are far apart, so maybe she was about to miss the bus. So dinosaurs died a long time ago. You can't race a living one. How could you figure out if you could run faster than a dinosaur? Think about it.
Here's an idea we had. Scientists have found lots of fossilized dinosaur footprints out in the world, just like this. What if you could recreate these footprints on a floor? Then compare them to your footprints. You could look to see who took the biggest steps. That would tell you who won the race, you or a dinosaur. There's only one problem with this idea. Which dinosaur should you race against? It wouldn't be fair to have you try racing against a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Even a T-Rex just walking is going to outrun you. Each step of a T-Rex is so huge. But we can solve this. To make things a little more fair, why not try racing some smaller dinosaurs? Not all dinosaurs were huge like T-Rex. Here are 4 different kinds of dinosaurs that were closer to your size. We can tell how long their legs were by looking at their fossil leg bones. To have a fair race, you just want to figure out which of these 4 dinosaurs had legs that were closest in size to your legs. We've actually created some printouts and step-by-step instructions that can help you do this. Check out the next video to get started.
So someday if you want to try it at home, maybe you can.
In today's activity, you're going to see if you can outrun a dinosaur. You and a partner will work together to measure the distance between your footprints when you run. Then you'll lay out the footprints of some small dinosaurs and compare them with yours to see if you were able to outrun them. You'll probably want to do all of your racing in a hallway or gym. Before you get started on that, though, first, you and a partner will measure each other's leg lengths in order to decide which of these 4 dinosaurs is best for you to race against. We'll show you how to get started step by step. Find a partner. You'll work together.
Okay, scholars, some of you might not have everything you need at home to do this, but you can practice timing yourselves, and maybe you could compete against your siblings to see who could run faster. So today's activity, we're going to learn how dinosaurs behaved. So if you can't see this, you can just zoom in. You're going to read through this. So like today's crime scene investigators, paleontologists, they study trackways, fossilized footprints for clues about how dinosaurs behaved, which is something that we also learned in today's video. So you're going to read through this article and you're going to answer in full sentences here. So you should be able to just type right in. And after this video, I want you to think, could you actually outrun a dinosaur? Why or why not?